Hello, my name is Milan Miladinovic. I'm a docent for piano and history of piano performance. I work in Academy of Arts in Novi Sad, in Serbia. Many thanks to Madam Inessa and Madam Nisman to allow me to give this video presentation since I couldn't come to do it personally. Scriabin's Fifth Sonata is a very important work of 20th century music. It has become immediately popular in Russia. Rachmaninov and Prokofiev had it in their repertoire. Scriabin wrote his Fifth Sonata in just a few days, in strong burst of inspiration after finishing his monumental poem of ecstasy. These two works share similar artistic ideas in many aspects. First is condensation of music material into just one movement. Then, program of both these works derives from Scriabin's poetic text, Poem of Ecstasy. Idea of this analysis is to present most important motives of the sonata as protagonists of drama. Parts of form will then become dramatic scenes in which this character interacts. Every motive has suggestions in the score by Scriabin about how it should be performed and how it should be transformed and interact with other motives during this piece. These suggestions can be read, or should be read by performer, as a special inner program for this piece. This is what I will try to do now. Basic dramatic idea of this sonata is to transform main languido motive from introduction by interacting or being intoxicated by other motives, as Scriabin likes to say, to open itself as a motive of bliss and ecstasy at the end of the piece. Transformation that, according to Scriabin, brings a man to a new realm of existence. Victor Delson, famous Russian musicologist, thinks that this work expresses an impulses toward a goal that is difficult to attain, but with final culminating achievement. There are three leading roles. First is languido motive, then first and second theme. It's interesting that languido motive in itself has nucleus of both other main roles. Languido motive is this. Nucleus of first theme. First theme, and as well nucleus of second theme with chromatic movement. Second theme. There are several motives which represent supporting roles, and they are incredibly important in dramatic development. But to spare time, we will introduce them later during analysis of scenes. First scene is introduction scene. In introduction scene, we have two characters that will have crucial role in unifying the whole sonata. First is, I would call it, a nucleus motive. It challenges the creative spirit and calling mysterious forces to life. Second is main character of this drama, its Languido motive. In quotation from Scriabin poem of Ecstasy that we can find in the score, in the heading of the score, we can find some basic characteristic of these motives. It starts, I call you to life, O mysterious forces. And then we have this nucleus motive, as in the beginning of universe. It is extravagant, trembling, in deepest register of piano, suddenly explode and dispersing itself as flying particles in the universe. Then, after silence, Languido motive comes. Languido motive is described with next lyrics by Scriabin. O mysterious forces, drowned in the obscure depths of the creative spirit, timid shadows of life, to you I give audacity or courage. Courage will come later. So, Scriabin goes deep into subconscious. Languido motive represents longing and desire. It's without strength and courage to open itself. For some reason, atmosphere of this scene reminds me of a famous painting of Russian painter Mikhail Vrubil, The Demon. And at the end of this scene of introduction, Scriabin gives a short preview of the first theme. Then comes pausa and starts exposition scene. In exposition, we have, of course, first and second theme. But between them, there is very dramatic and very developed connecting part, or it can be called bridge, with three new characters. And after second thema comes codetta, or closing section, that brings conclusion of the first part of this drama. So let's explore this scene in detail. First theme. Scriabin marks it as presto con allegrezza, fast with joy. It is optimistic, enthusiastic, it's diatonic in harmonic sense, and very pure, probably because of that. Soul strive in joyful dance to liberate itself from the chains represented by left hand ostinato. What is very interesting here is that accompaniment is in inversion, going from up to the bass. Tradition would be opposite direction, yeah? Scriabin is doing a genius thing by doing this, because bass as a root note, C sharp, comes in the weakest point of each bar. And this gives melody, in right hand, freedom to make effects of flying. Theme is based on the different variation of dominant chord. It's actually 13th. It's very characteristic. Entire sonata is based on dominant chords. And Victor Dason is calling this dominantization of tonality. What is also interesting that Scriabin also does in his poem of Ecstasy is to use as a basis for melodies 5th, 7th, and 9th or 9th, 11th, and 13th degree of a scale. So in a Poem of Ecstasy, for example, we have dominant, but melody goes into minor intonation. So by blending these minor intonations in the melody, he blends them with major harmony. And this gives some special polytonal effect. We have this as well in Fifth Sonata, in second theme. Let's go back to the first theme. With constant rises and falls of dynamics and strong turbulence, first theme finally breaks the chains of left-hand ostinato and intoxicating it into dance and strong statement. And then comes bridge. In bridge, we have three important new characters. First comes motive of protest, marked imperioso, which resembles motive of protest from Poem of Ecstasy. This motive is in constant opposition with second motive called misterioso affanato, and both are just 2 bars. They struggle, and then suddenly appears motive of triumph, stopping their fight. And it's marked imperioso quasi trombe, but it lasts as well, only 2 bars, and suddenly it melts and preparing atmosphere for the second theme. And then comes the second theme. It's marked meno vivo, caressing. And although it derives from languido motive, it needs different lyrical approach. Because languido is introvert, it represents imagination. But the second theme is extrovert with its expressive cantabile melody. Second theme is at the same time in strong opposition to the first theme. Its structure is chromatic in opposite to diatonic first theme. Then we have polyphonic lines, and there is pulverization of structure. And then comes codetta, the closing section of exposition. Closing section is full of drama. After pulverization of second theme comes allegro fantastico motive. It is short, only 2 bar, but it brings energy and striving. And immediate pausa after his appearance is like a question mark. Then starts first theme, which is in exaltation, tumultuous, intoxicated with motive of triumph, imperioso. They rises together until sudden appearance of nucleus motive from beginning. And all this ecstatic is suddenly stopped by allegro impetuoso again. it flies away into nothingness, allowing a new beginning. In development scene, two lyrical characters, Languido and second theme, starts to show their courage. Development has two parts. In first, which I call scherzo, we have first theme interacting with other characters. In second, meno mosso, second theme interacting with all characters. Both parts starts with Languido motive. Scherzo. Scherzo starts with Languido in its original form from beginning of the sonata. Then comes a very beautiful moment where we have first theme together with motive of protest. They come together in harmony, but later on they develop a strong conflict. Languido then comes again and starts to be in the center of drama. First, it has interaction with Misterioso motive, which opens him up, but it's a wrong path. Languido simply becomes loud and agitated. They come together to a dead end. But then first theme is tempting Languido, and together they make big climax in triumph. A magical moment comes next. Nucleus motive from beginning is now transformed into a flying volando. And it inspires Languido to fly free, like in some astral projection. Then comes the second part of this scene, meno mosso. It also starts with Languido, but it is now inside of new motive, present only in this scene. We can call it Mephisto motive. It's there maybe by chance, by subconscious association of Scriabin, or maybe Scriabin consciously puts this citation from Liszt to give some evil spells. Then comes second theme, which is marked cantabile, but soon starts its total crystallization. It becomes passive and static, almost frozen. Fantastico motive tries to put some activities into this passive second theme. Then it takes over into trance, like in some fantastic dream. Misterioso motive and motive of triumph appears together and ignites a fire. This fire prepares appearance of second theme, now completely transformed in a big climax. suddenly, reprise is starting, recapitulation scene. It is slightly shortened, and first theme comes prestissimo, of course, after this ecstatic appearance of second theme. But all elements are already there. We spoke about them. A next interesting moment is coda. It's a final scene and final resolution of entire drama. At the beginning, we have fantastico motive, which appears in fantastic dream. Misterioso is then transformed into vertiginous, trance-like dizzy movement with rage and in delirium. And then, first theme appears in luminous state, supported by theme of triumph. But all of this is just preparation for final showing of languido motive, which go out of himself, transformed in ecstasy and representing creative spirit as a man God. It's a culmination of entire work in final ecstasy. And coda ends abrupt, with return of first theme together with motive of triumph, like in closing section of exposition. And at the very end, we have the final flight. It's a flight into nothingness. We have silence and circle is closed. End is just a new beginning. Thank you.